Yeah, I don't know where Todd is either. So, good morning, everybody. It's good to see you today. It's here in Northern Kentucky. It's a balmy 23 degrees, a bit overcast. Still a flake or two falling out of the sky. We've got about 8 or 9 inches with a layer of ice in the middle of all of that. So it's an exciting time. Good day to be in the shop, not worrying about what's outside. My poor wife is at the hospital where she has been since yesterday morning at 6 o'clock. She stayed there overnight, so it's been quiet around the house. I should have gotten more done than I did. I didn't get anything done yesterday. That's okay. I was just telling Ruby I slept all afternoon, so it was a good afternoon for me. Anyway, I'll share with you what we're doing. We're going to continue this whole idea of hollow forms. Um, we we do open forms all the time, the bowls and the closed forms we showed, and then I've done two different hollow forms. One where I hollowed through a small opening in the top, and then last week we did like a clamshell, two bowls that we put together, and I'm thank you all, and thank all the other folks as well who have spoken up about that piece. Some fog wood that came out pretty nice. I'm pretty tickled with it. I'll be doing some more of that. And then today is a third way of doing a hollow form from the bottom. It's a little interesting. You got to think ahead a little bit. We'll probably mess it up and do something out of order, but that's part of it. As we get started today, let me bring in my friends, both of them. There's
Good
Queen
evening,
Ruby
guys. Good
and the
evening.
Wood Jedi Wayne the Woodturner. We are so glad
And
that you
Happy New
guys are here.
Year, everyone.
Yes, Happy New Year
Yes,
to
happy new.
everybody.
Hope everybody has a great new year. My new year has started off pretty well. I'm pretty excited. Set some goals for myself and for the channel, and maybe I'll share those with you later today if we have some time. If we don't, maybe I'll do that next week. Uh, just some goals that I have for me personally, and you guys will play a role in all of that. So I'm going to switch back to just the single view, and I'm going to get started while somebody, I can't imagine who it might be, but somebody
No, me
will
neither.
will begin to share with us who all is in the chat. This is a piece of Leland cypress that was given to me. Let's see. I think if I take it to the wider view, you guys will be able to see a little bit better what we're doing.
That's better.
Um, just a nice piece of wood, absolutely no cracks in it. And as you can, there
That's it. Oh, nearly. There
we
you
go.
go.
There, you can see the growth rings in that are pretty tight together. Even though this is a softwood or so-called softwood, it will do quite nicely. It's fairly dense for a softwood for a cypress. No, absolutely no cracks. This tree was cut. Oh golly, I've had it for 5 years. It was probably cut 6 to 7 years ago. So that's what we're going to start off with today. So I'll shut up and let, I don't know who it might be, but somebody's going to read off our chat.
Yeah, it'll probably be that English guy that lives in Scotland.
Could be. Could be.
You mean the
Okay, here
fellow
we
with the nice voice and the nice lilt to his voice.
okay. First in, we've got Roger Wallum. Obviously, Ruby's here. Zed's in. Evening, Zed. Malcolm Douglas is in. Dale, Old Man River is in. Ronald Todd from the West Bank of New Jersey is here. And he's asking you, Ruby, I hope you're feeling better.
Well, a whole lot better than I was last week, believe me. I was
There we
pretty ill last week.
go. Roger Kent's in. Oh, Karsten's in. Good evening, Karsten.
Hi, Karsten.
Al's in. Good afternoon, Al.
Hi, Al.
Mike Evans is here. And the chat has started to jump already.
Roger Kent has joined us.
Yeah, I think I said Roger.
Well, that was a different
Rob,
Roger.
Rob from Copperell's here. Mike Yu from Ilminster is here. Chris Walters is in.
Hi, Chris.
Anthony Green's here. Evans, I think I've already said.
Norman
And,
Greenwell has joined us.
oh, hiya, Norman. I'm still going down here. Oh, Jennifer's in. One of
Hi,
my main
Jen.
friends, Jennifer. How are you doing, pedal?
And Heather from Spirit Wood, Stone and Bone. Hi, Heather.
Hiya, Heather. I'm still going down, by the way. Oh, Mike's in from Dancers. Spun by Green Jeans is here. I recognise that wavy hand at the end. That's got to be Haley, and it is.
Hey, Haley.
Jim Selby's in. Still going down. I think that's me at the bottom.
Yep.
All right. Good to have everybody with us today. It's seems like it's been a while, even though it's only been since last week.
Your audio's a bit off there, Doug.
Okay,
I
is that
don't
any
know.
better?
I don't know if it's because of the face mask or what.
Is that a little better?
That's better.
Okay, very good, very good. It was up, my mic had slid up a little bit. Just getting this round, starting off with a spindle roughing gouge. The log was a little oval to begin with. Just using my little spindle
Yeah,
roughing gouge.
you're just using the small spindle rough and gouge tonight.
Yeah, just a little one.
Yeah.
Ruby's got the big one.
Yeah, I've got a nice 3-inch one.
Yes, yes, I've seen that one as well, Ruby. Yeah. I'm not going into the bragging rights here.
I wasn't bragging. It was a tool I needed for a very big turning that I did. It was what, 24 inches in diameter, 9 feet long?
Yeah, that was the the
It
big
was,
post that there was a few of you worked on that, didn't you?
yeah, it was a trunnion jig for a bridge, and it took 6 of us with a chain fall and a forklift to get it up onto the lathe. And I'll tell you, when we turned the machine on, everybody stood well back, and that
Yeah.
thing just ran true as a dime.
About everybody stood back. She means about a mile away.
And it took us about 12 hours to turn it.
Jennifer, I am not too bad at the moment, thank you. And Lucy's just come in. Good evening, Lucy.
Sweet potato.
Andrew's in with your woodshed.
Hi, Andrew.
I've got to say, we were getting worried at about 10 to 8 because no, the 10 to 8 hour time, sorry, 10 to 3 over in Central Time, I think it is, because there was nobody in the chat whatsoever.
That is weird. Usually there's one or two early risers that or early arrivers who jump in. Well, that's almost round. Let's go ahead and finish that off. So yeah, it was a little odd.
Well, if nobody had come in, you'd have continued turning, and Wayne and I would have gone down to our lathes and done a little work.
Sure.
Right. Now, Mike has asked me a question here, and before I answer, I've got to ask him a question back. Whereabouts in England are you, Mike? That's Dances with Aardvarks. Before I answer this question.
Well, Haley says she got distracted reading and forgot the time.
Oh.
Mm.
See these middle-aged women. Oops, sorry, Haley.
Well, I knew you weren't referring to me.
But Mike did ask me, how's the flooding situation been? The flooding situation, we haven't seen anything, to tell you the truth. I was saying to Doug and Ruby before we started that all the nasty weather has been happening well away from where I am. We had a smattering of snow, which left around about 9:30 in the morning. So we haven't had anything. Mike is in southeast Birmingham, Solihull. Solihull Centre has been flooded in the first time he can remember.
Yeah. Chris from Bailey Woodworks has joined us.
Good evening,
Hey,
Chris. And
And
Johnny
then Johnny-
Foster's in as well. Oh, sorry, Ruby.
You go right ahead.
Yeah, Johnny Foster's coming as well. And Lucy said she's been building Lego and almost also forgot the time. How come the kids aren't building a Lego?
Because the adults buy it for themselves, not for the kids. Haven't you figured that out yet, Wayne?
No, didn't do that. Sorry.
Lego has gone from being a kids thing. It's now engineered. Um, adults being paid big money to engineer these projects. Kind of crazy, and they've gotten super expensive.
Oh, I got a triple laugh from Haley about my comment about her age. Sorry, Haley. I shouldn't do that.
Karsten says Lego is for all ages.
It is now.
And Lucy has said that the kids have their Lego and we have ours.
She says that they don't do it properly. It's like coloring in; they go over the lines.
I don't know why I'm taking this extra step with the skew, but
That's
I am.
because you need the practice, right?
Well,
the proper answer to that one is why not?
true. And have taken a few passes of practice is not a bad thing.
Now, Rob from Copper Owl has said, I don't know how I didn't know that Lego is Danish.
I didn't know that.
And Mike says he prefers McConnell. Always lost the little spanner. Drove him.
Yeah. I've got to say, I grew up in an age where it was Meccano rather than Lego.
I don't remember McConnell at all.
And Chris says he heard the U.S. is proposing to purchase Greenland from Denmark for 42 Lego sets.
They'll be the expensive ones then.
Right, just going to put a tenon on both ends of this. Got some work that needs to be done from both directions.
Dale has said the bad storm in the USA went south of New York. Places that only get snow once every 20 years got 12 inches plus. Yeah, we have had regular updates on our news here. The main concern for us over here, certainly down further south in England, is the flooding at the moment. That's been horrendous.
And up here in the south of Canada, we've basically got no snow. We've got extreme cold, but no snow.
That just blows my mind that y'all hadn't got any snow up there yet.
Little sis is in.
Hey, Paula.
Hi, Paula.
Just to let you know, Paula, I decided to open my Prezi early, and it is absolutely fantastic. And thank you very much. Paula has basically stopped wood turning now because problems with her hands and everything. And she's doing a lot of 3D printing. And she sent me a nice little birthday gift, which arrived yesterday. And I did decide to open it early.
All right. Well, tell us what it is since you already opened it.
Okay, I will show you one piece towards the end, but it's a dragon egg, a 3D printed dragon egg with it's a threaded box that opens, which she has painted, and inside is a dragon.
All right.
And it's one of these 3D printed movable dragons.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
great.
So it arrived yesterday. I did decide to open it early.
And Lucy wants to know, Wayne, when is your birthday?
Tomorrow.
Well, that's going to
Tomorrow.
be easy for you to for me to remember because yours is tomorrow. Craig Heffron's is on Thursday, and my husband Wayne is on Friday.
The best way to remember my birthday is you've got Christmas Day, New Year's Day, my birthday. 3
Mhm.
weeks.
Oh goodness, yeah, yeah. All right, we're going.
When we come
Take
to the end of the show, I will I'll bring one of the pieces. The dragon egg and the dragon was sort of came as one piece, but she has done another piece which is absolutely superb.
Great. Remind me, and we'll do that because I'll forget.
Oh, here we go. Zed started.
Uh-oh.
My nephew lives on the East Coast. His mum said he was heading off to school with one boot on. When she asked him why, he says there was 50% chance of snow. I like that one. That's a good one. And thanks to everybody who's putting in happy birthday for tomorrow. It's very much appreciated.
And then Martin Ford has joined us. Hi, Martin.
Hi, Martin.
How to do? As I said earlier, good to have everybody along, whether you were here early or just pulling in, whatever it might be.
Well,
Yeah, I'm going to use something I
have,
haven't.
I have
I
one
was just going.
percent.
Go ahead.
Were you folks aware of the fact that bees are actually allergic to pollen? That's why they break out in hives.
Oh, God.
That's a Z joke. Oh, me. That's terrible.
Zed said, happy birthday, Wayne. You're as old as you act, so continue to enjoy your teens. Oh, cheers, man. I like that one.
Well, I was told on my last birthday that I'm not allowed to get older and I'm not allowed to act my age.
There you go. All right, we're going to use this tool. I've had this for a while, um, but I've not had it set up for this lathe. Came off a someone else's lathe. The fella died, and his wife, in cleaning out his shop, um, had everything up for sale, and a bunch of, for lack of a better way of saying it, a bunch of vultures
Oh,
went in.
Frederick's. Sorry, Doug. Frederick's just come
It's
in.
okay.
Frederick, yeah.
Good to have you, Frederick.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Anyway, a bunch of folks went into the shop, took what they wanted. Um, she was trying to finish it up, and had already given me, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years of wood turning magazines, um, quite the number of bags. But anyway, and she showed me pictures of what else was still in the shop. I said, well, if nobody else takes it, I wouldn't mind working on that with that steady rest. Well, it wasn't but a couple of days. She says, I want you to have it. And so
You want to
we
change
met.
camera, Doug?
I will. Um, we met,
Just
and
when you get a minute, once you've got that set up.
yeah. Anyway, we met, and I got this, and I got a couple other things from her. And I said, well, I want to pay you. She said, oh, no, No, you've helped me already. So I got this, and I've got a long hollowing system. I still have to put some cutters in. When I get that ready, I'll share that with you all. But anyway, I had to do some modifications on this to get it to work with my lathe. Mostly having to do with this hold down bar. It was too wide, and it works on that end of my lathe better than it does on that end. On the Works better on the tailstock end. For some reason, there's a difference in. I'm going the wrong way. I wanted to loosen that.
I'll just
There's a
see
difference in the
Alan
height.
Gibbs just come in as well.
Hey, Alan. Come on, work with me here. There we go. On this headstock end, the retaining block doesn't want to go all the way underneath.
Is it hitting one of the ribs?
Oh, I see. I need to loosen it more.
Fred says that whenever he puts on a steady rest, he always puts it on the wrong side of the banjo and has to take it off again. One day he'll learn. I think we've all done that who have had steady rests, Fred.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I made sure my banjo was down on the far end. So, well, here I go again, tightening when I should be loosening. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. So my next purchase is going to be a ratcheting box wrench, so I don't have to sit here and
Yeah, they're good. And Mark's in. Evening, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Mark S.
Oh, more Babes. See, you didn't say it right, Wayne. I'd have known who Babes was.
Oh, sorry, up down
there. And Johnny has to go back to work. He'll catch the rest later.
All righty.
See you, Johnny.
All right. I think eventually what I'm going to have to do is get either a thinner lockdown plate or do something totally different.
And Ray's just come in as well.
Hi, Ray.
And he says he's driving a crane. Okay.
All right. Yeah, Ray's a crane operator. He drives that big stuff. But he also runs into some wood that way, and so that's pretty cool. All right. To answer your question, Wayne, this bed is a two-part bed, and right in front of where I have the steady rest is the joint.
Oh,
so
right.
that particular section in between the two ribs, that particular one is a little bit narrower than the rest of them. But there is a difference. Even I tried to bring it back another rib yesterday, and or day before sometime, and didn't want to go in there either. So I'm not sure what the problem is. But anyway, that's got it right there. Now I gotta catch my breath. All this to drill. We're just gonna bring it up. It's not exactly right. It really needs to be lowered about a half an inch. But it will do the trick for what we want to do today. Even though the guy that made it for a 16-inch lathe. This is a 16-inch lathe. It's still not exactly right, but it's okay.
As long as it works.
Yeah. I'll turn the speed down just to get us started. Working good so far?
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah. Bring my speed up to right about 500. And before I bring the drill bit up, I want to
clean off this end a little bit and put a divot in there. Still too high. There we go.
Oh, apparently Ray got a new lathe. You'll have to tell us what the lathe is, Ray.
I can tell you what he got. He got a one-way 2436. It's got bed extensions on it, so he's got over 6 feet of bed on it.
Oh, excellent. Very nice.
Yeah, he's got a nice lathe now. He turned a piece and posted it on Facebook the other day, and by golly, it looks good. I knew it would help his turning, and sure enough.
And Mike has just put in, he's got some crazy ideas coming up. Now he's got a pin router. The world is my lobster.
There you go.
Oh, Jesus, Mike. Your ideas, I don't know where you get them.
Now, Mark is suggesting that on the bottom of the steady rest, instead of having to use that wrench, maybe you could put a thumb nut.
Could, if I had a little more room, which if I lower this section, if I cut half an inch off of this, that would help tremendously.
Well,
This is just the way it was made.
yeah, the problem with the thumb nut is it might protrude higher than the head of that nut is.
Yeah, but you could always put the thumb nut underneath.
Yeah.
True. That is, if your hands are small enough like mine to go underneath and do it up.
There is that. And Ronald has said, I keep telling myself I need to get my memory checked, but I always forget to make the appointment.
I can relate, Ron.
Squeal, squeal, squeal. It's not really getting hot. It's just squealing.
A little bit of wax on that will take care of that.
And Zed has said that he'd never heard of a pin router. He's just Googled it and said, that's interesting.
A lot of people, Zed, are making jigs that'll hold the router above or beside their spindles so that they can router on their turn pieces.
Mm-hmm.
He's also said his wife told him yesterday that she doesn't think I listen to her. And I said, that's a crazy way to start a conversation.
Using a little bit of microcrystalline wax here. If I had
Yeah,
some paraffin wax handy, that's what I would use, but I don't.
I usually leave a little cloth in the top of my wax and then just wipe it down with that because sometimes the drill bit can get a little warm.
Yeah. I had already checked it. The drill bits, like I said, it's not getting hot. Usually when it squeals like that, it is getting hot. But this is not. It's just talking to me.
Well, that's not all bad, you know.
No.
And it shows he's listening as well.
That's true.
Must be a male drill bit. If it was female, you wouldn't be listening.
That's a 3/8 lamp bit.
I'll remember that, Wayne. You might not be celebrating more birthdays.
All right, we'll back these off just a touch. so I can reverse this without
Oh,
any trouble.
Todd's just come in.
Hey, Todd.
Yeah, he says, greetings all. I've been listening from the start, but just got back to the vacation rental at the bench in South Carolina. He's been chasing planes, cargo ships, and shorebirds. Oh, very nice.
Sounds like fun to me. South Carolina.
Right.
How cold is it there, Todd?
Carsten has said, is it just the camera angle? From here, it looks like the steady rest doesn't really support from the bottom.
Well, not really from the bottom. It's three sides. Slightly below halfway mark, right at the halfway mark, and right on top. So, okay, I drilled it from the other end, but we're going to start down on this end. I flipped it around so we can start down here, keeping that tenon there. I want to part off a section of this that we will come back to later.
Now, Frederick helped the lady look at the lathe on Sunday to check it. She asked me what I wanted for helping her, and he said nothing. Yeah, that's the best way, Fred. Hang on, I'm going to have to. Is it just camera angle from here? It looks like the steady rest doesn't really support from the bottom. And he's followed up with that. With what I mean is, does it prevent the piece from being forced towards the lathe?
It's not supposed to. That's not the point of it. The steady rest seems to be. It just secures it from three angles, and it keeps it moving laterally.
And it's basically to keep the piece centered.
Yeah. Stops vibrations for the most part. And it helps with, I'm working almost 12 inches. Well, right now I'm just shy, barely like 11 inches away from the headstock. And so between vibration and also just the leverage that I have that far away from the headstock, it helps with that tremendously.
Yeah, Ronald said the steady rest seems to have been made for a larger diameter lathe. Now, Doug has already said that he's probably going to chop some off the bottom of that. That covers that one. Frederick has said that the lady who he showed the lathe to, or who he was advising the lathe about, she gave me a bag of cake, some biscuits, some fudge, and some popcorn. There goes his diet again. And Haley has said to Frederick, hopefully she will pay it forward and help someone else.
Yeah. As far as the size lathe, the diameter lathe that this was made for, the one it was made for and this one are both 16-inch. But that was a different company than this one. And so 16-inch is not 16-inch, if that makes sense. So, okay. Now's the fun stuff. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to move.
Now, if I've thought here, if anyone wants to know how to make a steady rest, I think Brian from Heartwood Turnings, I think a few years ago, actually showed people how to make a steady rest.
I believe he did. I'm just trying to decide what tool I'm going to start with here.
Maybe you could tell us what exactly you're making.
Well, we're going to make a hollow form. It's going to be in the shape of a bottle with a long neck. So this is the bottom here, and I'm going to start the hollowing process right now. And yes, I'm going against the grain right now. I'm sorry.
Zed says it's 75 degrees Fahrenheit where he is. He
Shut
almost
up.
feels guilty.
Yeah.
You should. You should.
And the professor's just come in.
Hi, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
No, it's been up to what are we in January now? It's been a couple of months since Harrogate. I've got to ask Rob, have you found a saw blade to cut hot dogs with yet?
There we go.
Anthony's asking what part of the world the zombie is in.
He's in. He's over in the west coast. I believe it's
California.
California, but I got that wrong last week. I think.
All right. Yeah, you can see it. I've already hit the hole that I drilled, which is what I was after.
Well, I can look at my thermometer and it's now saying -5 Fahrenheit.
Mm.
Zed is in Morro Bay, California.
Well, if you'd
All right.
like to blow some of that warm weather this way, we'll take it. So you're using a number 1 hollower?
Yes, I am. Love the way that little tiny bit works.
Yeah, for hollowing, those carbides work extremely well.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Todd and Glenn Clover said, Mark Twain once said, the coldest winter he ever had was the summer he spent in San Francisco. There you go.
Summer you spent where?
In San Francisco.
Oh, yes. Yes, it stays pretty cool in San Francisco from what I understand.
That's because we dropped some of our Canadian air south onto it.
All right.
And Heather
First time
says,
I've run into this problem. I've got a shelf that hangs down from the ceiling that I've got my monitor on. It's right in the way.
Doug,
I'm hitting
can
my
you
shoulder on it.
right? Can you maybe adjust the steady rest a little bit?
Um,
You've got
I'm
you've got two wheels not working.
right now 3 of them.
Oh, well, three of them now.
Heather says that in Muskoka it's -7 degrees Celsius right now.
And heavy
Time for
snowfall
sunbathing.
again.
So that's about what we've got down here, Heather. Heather, I hope I'm not this weekend, but next weekend I'll see you at the Toronto Wood Show.
Lucy said she thinks it was -4 last night. She's fed up of not feeling her extremities every time I take or pick the kids up from school. The thing is, Lucy, when everybody else gets 4 inches of snow, it's up to your neck.
Fred says that he finished the beer bottle he was making last week. The problem is with side grain moves shape to the end grain to the neck. He's poured so much sanding sealer on it and it's still soaking it in.
Hmm.
Well, if you filled it with beer, that would probably solve the problem.
Yeah, could do. Lucy's asking Doug, have you had more snow?
We're at about 8 or 9 inches right now, with a thin layer of ice in the middle of it. So it's more snow than we've seen in about 11 years. How far am I? No, we're about 3 inches in so far. Knocking stuff off my shelf.
Now, Heather has said that she's definitely heading to Egerton, Ruby, weather permitting.
Toronto, maybe.
All right, let's keep going just a little further.
We'll just have to play it by ear because we've been having a lot of strange weather. She also says her granddaughter should be making her arrival by then.
And Spragg Woodturn has just come in and he said, hello, Doug and all. He's got something in the vacuum chamber, so he thought he'd stop in for a visit.
Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry, who is
good.
that? Fred. Hey,
Spragg
Jim.
Woodturn.
Okay, how you doing, Jim?
Lucy's come back to me and said, an old bus inspector once said that she would need a flashing yellow light on the top of her head in the deep snow so they wouldn't lose her.
We'll switch over to the Easy Finisher, which is the larger round cutter.
Yeah, I like having the round ones on the red handles because they both start with a red or an R.
All right. I think I've shared with you all that I started out with Easy Wood Tools back when it was a one-man operation, and it was a quite an interesting deal, starting to learn. And Craig Jackson, the inventor, he did a video there at the very beginning where he started off with a square chunk of wood, put it on the lathe between centers, turned it on at, I don't know, 2,500, 2,800 RPMs, and went at it with with the rougher, which at that time was called the CI1,
Right.
for a couple of reasons. The CIR, CI0 finisher was not even around then. It was only the square. So
Right.
to see that early video was quite interesting, to see him jam that square carbide cutter into that square piece of wood. I'm just cleaning up my hole here a little bit, if I can find it. Get my face shield out of the way, and it will be going right back on. So there we go.
Now, for those of you who don't know Lucy personally and her better half, or other half, I should say, Andy, if you can imagine Lucy being in the deep snow with a flashing yellow light, Andy would be standing beside her and the snow would only be coming up to his knees.
Yep. All right.
what we've got here, basically the cylinder that is hollowed. What did I say? If I go straight in with my ruler here, 3.5 inches. So I want to come back up here and about, well, I'm going to comb them all the way up to 4 inches and just give myself a mark, a reference mark, so I know on the outside how deep that is. And I know I've got plenty of room here. I've got a heavy 1/2 inch of thickness on this. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take this steady rest off. We'll bring the tailstock up and have a little bit of a play with that. And for those of you who want to try this and you don't have a steady rest, you don't have to have one. You just have to work a lot easier. Take lighter cuts. Take your time. Be ready for it to come out as a chuck.
Yep, I don't have a steady rest.
Yeah, no, it's not an absolute necessary thing. This is a luxury item.
Sneaks have just come in.
Hey,
Evening,
Mama Sneaks. I'm going to pull a page from Jake. Give Mama Sneaks some flex arms in the chat. She likes those flex arms.
No, I turned a vase. Oh, when was it? It was probably last February, I think it was. And I promised Mama Sneaks that I was going to send it down to her, and she actually got it at Harrogate in November. But at least she got it.
She got it. Yeah, that's the thing. She got it. I've got a piece sitting over here on my table where I put finished work that I promised a lady 2 years ago that I still haven't delivered to her. It's a large cherry bowl. So, well, I just happened to look down and my sandpaper's laying on the floor. Good place for it, huh? Okay. So here's my mark. Let me switch cameras.
No, thank you, Mama Sneaks.
There's my mark. Here's the chuck. This is the top of this piece. Turn the camera just a hair and you can see the whole thing. So this is the bottom. This is my mark. I'm hollowed to just shy of that. And all this is going to be a long neck, but I want to shape this part first. And to do that, get that out of my way. Let's bring the tailstock up. And this is probably, the cone center I've got on my tailstock is probably too small. But we'll fix that too if we need to.
And Billy Bird has joined us. Hi, Billy.
Good evening, Billy.
Oh. Now, Heather's been talking about getting ready to retire and that, and she's been getting some good advice on retiring. My advice would be don't rush it. Make sure you buy all the tools you want and machines and whatnot before you retire.
Yeah. Yeah, because your income doesn't go up after you retire.
Nope.
No, it sure doesn't.
Now, right. Mama Sneaks' birthday is on Thursday, and she will be 69. 2 years younger than me, Mama. Mine's tomorrow, and I'll be 71. Well, that should be about 5,071.
I was
in
going to
Egyptian years.
You guys are all babes.
All right. I am obviously not in line, headstock and tailstock. So let's get lined up.
Cheers, Billy.
Happy birthday, Mama Sneaks.
Absolutely. Billy, glad you're in, bud.
I really hope Clive is going to be doing something nice for you on Thursday.
Absolutely.
After he finishes work. Obviously, he'll be working first.
All right. Take the live center out of the tailstock.
Cheers, Todd.
Change that view so you can actually see what's going on. For those of you who have a headstock that rotates, this is a needed item. This is not a luxury item. This is a two-ended or double-ended Morse taper 2. I'm going to get my air compressor and just blow both of those spindles out so we get a nice fit on both of those. Come out of there.
Frederick has said he was all right until he hit 70 years, then everything stopped working or falling off.
Oh my. Oh my.
I can
Okay,
relate to that. Now, it's interesting you said that about those who have headstocks that move, Doug, because the headstock on my Herald moves quite easily, but I've never had an issue with getting it back online when I've moved it back.
Yes. Some lathes, some companies do a lot better job with their lathes of making a detent in there so it's exactly right. Nova chose not to do that for whatever reason. Now I've got this loose. Had that pulled up so you can see it moves. I've got it it's got a detent lock here, and then I've got a lockdown bar on the back end. Tailstock is tight. Wind it out. I'm actually going to put it in the tailstock first.
So Martin Ford has said when he was thinking of retiring, he hummed and hawed about would my pensions be enough. A friend who was already retired said they won't, and he was right.
Absolutely right.
It's never enough.
Yeah, and Mama said yes. Clive is taking her out. Yeah, nice one.
Okay.
Mama said.
Put this in here. I brought my tailstock up as far as it would go, extended the quill. It's tight in both of those, and I cannot move my headstock at this point. So they're in line. So all I have to do is close the detent lock. Then I can tighten my, I forget what they call that thing now. Anyway, it's a bar in the back end that screws in and locks it down absolutely so it cannot move. Now I can back this back out. And I know that my headstock and my tailstock are aligned.
Rich says that when he retires, it'll be when he dies.
Oh, Rich. Hey, Rich. Glad to see you. Maybe before you retire, you can address this alignment issue on the rotating headstocks, or get the engineers to do that. Okay. While I'm in this configuration, I'm gonna take this cone and size it just a little better for what my needs are. I'm going to get a different chuck, but one that'll still hold. Let's unlock that so I can twist. There we go.
Yeah, and Billy has said retiring was the best decision he ever made, and that was 6 years ago. I've got to agree, to tell you the truth.
I tell you what, I am semi-retired, and I like this situation. My wife doesn't, but I do. I may pick up maybe next month or month after. I may pick up a little part-time somewhere. But I kind of like the situation I'm in, being able to do this kind of thing, which is one of my goals. Not only do I want to continue with my lives, I want to have a series of videos out this year, which in turn would help my subscription numbers and my view numbers go up.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
I see. Notice I watched the short yesterday on YouTube. Steve Trudell is starting to do videos again
Yeah.
on talk about. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. He had his first one out last night, which was talking about tenons and how to use tenons.
And how to size them correctly.
And how to size them, which I've got to say, when I was doing lives, I sort of mentioned mortises rather than tenons, but similar type of thing on how you do that.
Absolutely. They've got to be sized right or they just don't work. Well, they'll work, but not nearly as well as they could or should.
Yep.
All right.
Zed's just put a link into his premiere for later on tonight.
Good job, Zed.
Norman has said he retired 10 years ago, not sure where he found the time to go to work. The majority of people that I know who have retired express the same point of view because they end up doing more stuff when they're retired than what they were doing when they were working.
All right. Got this little cone piece straightened up and cleaned up, what have you, so it'll fit better. Take it out. Get rid of the chuck. I must have sprayed something black. Those jaws are awfully pretty and black and shiny.
Yes, they do.
Ronald
contrast
Todd
nicely.
said, yeah, Ronald Todd said he retired 10.5 years ago and loves it. He's just been sidelined for a while, taking care of his wife. And Frederick Day said he retired nearly 20 years ago. It feels like yesterday. Tempest Fugit.
Mm.
Well, I supposedly retired in 06, but I seem to be a lot busier now than I ever was.
Yeah, folks who retire and think it's going to be a life of sitting around. Well, for some people it is, but they don't last very long.
No,
when
in fact, insurance companies say if you don't have an activity to do when you retire, your lifespan, they average at about 5 years.
Yes, it's not very long. Not very long. I have told young guys for many, many years, get a hobby that you enjoy, that can be another passion for you.
Yep.
It's silly to not have something.
And the thing is, it might actually take you a few years to find out what that passion is.
Yeah.
Billy refuses to sit around. He loves playing in the shop too much.
Sure.
No, that's because Billy has their wonky seats in his shop and he falls off them. Sorry, Billy. Couldn't resist.
Okay, that line tells me this is where the wheels on the steady rest were. That's not a big deal. They'll go away here in just a minute. This is just above the top of my hollowed section. So all of this is going to be neck. Let's get this part shaped up. Then we can do something about flipping it around and getting my neck straightened up. Okay?
Yep.
Mask first. Mask
Dale,
shield.
Dale says the COVID cost him his last job when he was 65. He was hoping to work until he was 70.
Yeah. $1,600 RPMs. I'm gonna come at it with the skew.
Billy said, I'll never live that broken chair down. Yeah, that was a highlight. It really was a highlight.
Heather says that she has too many hobbies to be bored after retirement. I can relate, Heather.
Heather does have some hobbies, I tell you. Excellent bead worker.
Yes.
I've got to say one of I haven't done any turning in a wee while, and one of my main hobbies from years ago has come back, and that is cooking. I love being in the kitchen.
Gee, what time is dinner, Wayne?
Dinner's already passed, I'm afraid to say, Ruby.
Oh, I missed it.
Yep, again.
Darn.
Keeping in mind that the top of the hollow area is right about there. So just coming in just above it, going to taper that down from here just a wee bit. And I've got about a half an inch of wood, so I'm okay. I am not worried. I'm going to move my tailstock a bit, get started down here.
Now, Todd has said, I've had many days where I didn't get anything done, but he's not being bored in retirement. That happens a hell of a lot, Todd, to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that, Todd.
Lucy is saying good night because she's going to watch the second part of Silent Witness. That's a BBC program.
And your sister says that you make delicious meals, Wayne.
Yeah,
She only visits for the food.
that's the only reason she comes up here to see me. Although I've got to say, we are planning a visit sometime. I'm hoping in the not too distant future, where she's coming up with Rachel, one of her daughters, and we're going to have a believe it or not, G&T night.
Good.
G
Have
and T.
gin
Yeah,
and
gin and
tonic.
tonic.
Oh, gotcha.
And Alan is the first one tonight. Congratulations, Alan. You're the first one tonight. He is asking when I'm getting back in the workshop and on the lathe. Yes, Alan.
Well,
I like that answer.
yeah, yes isn't a date, Wayne. So we're going to take that as a commitment that yes, you are getting back in the shop, and it's going to be in the near future.
No, I never said the near future. I answered him and I said yes.
No, we need more commitment than that.
Yeah, I know, but you're not getting it tonight.
Oh, typical guy.
And Heather has
Won't
said
commit to anything.
Heather has said she also knits, crochets, tatting, quilt, beadwork, weaving, fishing, carving, and probably more than I've forgotten about. Oh, and watching us on YouTube as well.
Let's see.
Billy has said, answering Todd, I've had days working in the shop for hours and not getting anything done. That is called, there's a professional term for that, Billy. It's called pluttering.
Hmm.
Yeah, Paul has said for when her and Rachel come up, it's going to be carnage. Yeah, I can imagine it probably will be.
Mike says
Now,
he retired.
I've got to say, Rachel, this is one of Paul has got one, two, three, four daughters. Rachel, where she works, she does circuit boards and stuff like this. And every
Mm.
winter or every January, the boss picks some names out of a hat and goes, "Come across to France and go skiing." And Rachel was one of the winners at the moment this year. So at the moment, she is in France doing some skiing.
Very good.
Sounds like fun. Mike says he retired in '08 and he's happy doing nothing, but hates having nothing to do.
You know, Billy said then he put us about quite a bit. I think, to tell you the truth, Billy, I think everybody has those times when they go in the workshop with every intention of actually producing something, and they end up puttering about, putting stuff here, putting stuff there, uh, deciding that's not where they want to have it, so they put it about and put it in different places.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you go back in the house, and your wife says, "What you done today?" "Oh, I've done some organising."
Then she goes and looks and says, "You didn't move anything." All right. I'm every tool's got its use, and that's where we're at. I'm just using whatever happens to work for that particular moment.
Yeah, Paula
What if you
said
look?
about Rachel, she's had no incidents or accidents yet, which I'm really very surprised about. Because if you knew this woman, dear me, the amount of accidents she gets into. And Paul has also said she could have stayed in England to ski. Oh, yeah, she could. And Billy has said that his problem is he gets sidetracked in the middle of something and decides he needs to take care of something else. That is the thing about puttering about in the workshop, though, Billy, isn't it?
Hmm. I think most of us have experienced that.
Absolutely, absolutely. My wife
Now,
keeps
Billy,
telling me I need to take the time and do a thorough cleanup, and I do that periodically. Problem is, I'll do 2 or 3 hours of cleanup and get real happy with myself. Then I've got to stop and turn something.
yeah, Billy has said he's allergic to gin. He breaks out in spots. Well, the thing is, Billy, I'm actually allergic to hard physical work. I find that I really am. I have found that if I do any hard physical work, my skin tends to leak. Other people call it sweat, but no, I think it's an allergic reaction to hard work.
Okay. Mike says last week when he started the hyperboloid fluted vase, he had no idea how to make it. It's taken him 3 days to figure it out.
Only 3 days.
We look forward to seeing it, Mike.
All right, another change. I'm starting to feel kind of like Pete. If you got the tool, why not use it?
You're going to use them all on this one vase, right?
Maybe. Tell you what, that has become one of my favorite tools right there. Half-inch skew.
It doesn't do sharp corners real well.
Oh, that looked like it might have went a bit thin there.
Mike says it's hard not to get distracted He's resisting the temptation to start a helicone tree.
God.
All right. I am still not capable of doing that inside curve very well. Askew.
Well, it is a bit tight.
Yeah, yeah.
And Karsten says it's getting late for him. Thanks for another fun night. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy birthday, Wayne and Mama Snakes.
Oh, cheers, Carsten.
Thanks for joining us, Karsten, and have a good evening.
Absolutely. Thank you, Karsten. Sleep well. What, speaking of which, what do we have on time there?
Well, it's 4:11 now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
just gone 10 past. You're not doing that badly.
No. Considering everything we've done. Okay. That's another newer tool that I just recently got. 3/8 spindle, 3/8 half inch. I think it's a half inch spindle gouge. No, that's a 3/8. It's a little bitty dude. Still working on getting the grind the way I want it, but it's coming along quite nicely and it works tremendously well. Turn my speed down just a little bit. Let's get a little sanding done.
And Zed is reminding folks to hit those thumbs up, people. That's a good idea, Zed.
Yep. It between the thumbs up and then coming back and putting a comment in later in the comment section, those two things make a huge difference in the analytics, how YouTube puts that out. So yeah, if y'all can do that, those two things for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. Wayne, maybe you remember. I should ask JP, I guess. Last year when he did that, or a year before in 23, did he do a video every day in December, or was it just like the 24 days?
No,
First 24?
he did a video every day in
That's kind of what I was
December.
thinking. Yeah, that was a pretty interesting project he did. I know those are pre-recorded and all of that, but that's work to get that many together. And most of them were aimed at Christmas.
I don't know if he had a few saved, but basically what he was doing was filming in the morning, editing in the afternoon, and putting the video out at night time.
Ah, that made it even harder. That's one of my projects for this year. I won't do every day of December, but maybe either 24 days before Christmas in December or the 12 days of Christmas. One of the two.
Yeah,
12 days of Christmas.
Jamie he did actually find that very hard work.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Doing lives is even worse.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not going to do it live. That's for sure.
No, because I've had periods in the past where I've done 5 lives a week. And
yes, you
that
did.
hurt.
No, you burn yourself out.
Well, and as I remember, Wayne, you would do that for a while, then take 2 or 3 weeks off, and then come back and do well again. I know I appreciated it.
The regular for me was 3 lives a week, and then I dropped it down to 2 lives, which was a Wednesday and a Saturday.
Mhm.
But throughout throughout COVID, I was basically on there.
Yeah, you were. You were. A lot of the, well, I guess you were doing maybe 3 days a week when I first started watching,
Yeah,
and then it went to 5 days, and then 2 days.
and
Just moved around.
it was the same. If other people couldn't do their lives, I'd cover their lives.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
sometimes they'd cover mine.
yeah. Well, and that was such a good time for folks with COVID and everything. Things were slower. Um, didn't seem to be quite as much that we needed to do or could do. So
I
yeah,
think
to
it
start watching lives is pretty important.
yeah, I think it helped a lot of people get through COVID.
Yeah, it helped me. I know that. Kept me from
Yeah,
being quite as depressed.
Wayne, we just have to get you back to once a month.
One of these fine days, Ruby. One of these fine days.
Won't be
It,
today.
it's it, the- it's a motivational thing at the moment. Now motivation, as probably everybody knows, comes from two ways. There's internal motivation and there's external motivation. At the moment, I'm getting a lot of external motivation from people asking me to carry on what I used to be doing. Internal motivation, it's not there yet.
Yeah, and it takes both. Every once in a while, I think, well, I'm not so sure people really care if I'm on every week. But then somebody makes a comment, and it just spurs me on. I need that. But if I'm not motivated to do it myself, um, like you say, I understand, Wayne, exactly what you're saying. It can be tough. All right. Just hit it real quickly with some 320 just to finish up. What is
And
that right there?
Mama Snakes has said, Doug, that is so awesome.
Well, thank you, Mama Sneaks. I appreciate that.
And
Hey, Mama Sneaks.
Ronald
Go ahead.
Todd has said, that's a very nice shape, Doug.
Well, thank you. Um, Mama Sneaks, question for you. It's been asked several times in the background, and nobody's had the nerve to really ask you it personally. But if you don't mind, and if you don't want to, I understand. That's okay. But if you don't mind, would you tell us what your name is? You may not want us to know, and that's okay if you don't.
You don't have to give us your last name, just your first name would be nice.
Michael
Yeah.
McEwen's just come in.
I like gold.
Hi, Mike.
It's Donette.
Oh,
Donette. Donette.
wonderful. Wonderful. All right. You see what we got here? That almost would make a nice goblet, wouldn't it? If that was the top and this was the base,
It would, yes.
it's a pretty goblet. But this is the bottom and this is the top. Here's what will be the base. I'm not going to keep you all for all that. I'm going to turn a cone out of this. Basically, just go from this edge down to this edge so that it will go inside of that. Then I'll glue it and turn that off so that it is all flush with this edge here, what we've already got.
Excellent.
So I'm not going to do that today. We're going to call it 20 after 4 now. And I know folks have got other things to do. I need to go try to get a little bit of snow off of my driveway while before it gets down to 0 degrees again. It's not going down that cold. It'll go down to the high teens tonight, I'm sure. But anyway, get a little snow off the driveway. But that's what's going to happen. We're going to make a little cone that'll go in there, be glued in, and then because I still got the tenon, I can reverse it, finish off this very top part. I'll probably put the steady rest back on, probably around this wider section here, not around the neck. That neck is starting to get thin. That was a 3/8 inch hole that we bored from the top all the way down, and of course this is all hollow here. Approaching a 1/2 inch here. Down here it's less than that, probably more like a 1/4 of an inch on this end down here. So that's where we are. I'll be posting this on the socials here, probably, if not tomorrow, it'll be Thursday. I may want to hold it off on putting the pictures out to the public until I show it on Wednesday night. So anyhow, that's what it is.
Now,
Now, is that-
Alice said, before you glue that on, put your name on the inside.
Put it on the inside. That would be an interesting thing. Why would I do that?
I don't think your hand is small enough, Doug.
I'm going to put it on the bottom on the outside after once I shape this, glue it in, and when it's all finished, all nice and pretty, I will laser it on the bottom. So, but not on the inside. Nobody would ever see it on the inside.
Now, Mama Snakes is asking me, what's the weather like in Scotland? The weather at the moment in Scotland is okay. It's cold, but it's very clear. We've got no rain. We've got no snow. There's been no flooding like there has been down in East Midlands. So all is good up here at the moment. Mama Snakes.
It's interesting the way this weather has moved around, and I'm sure it's not this particular storm is not finished what it's going to do. In fact, it's not finished with us. I understand parts of New England are starting to get the snow now that we had over the weekend here. So anyway, it's interesting to see how it's working out. Of course, we've heard already Ruby hadn't gotten anything from this snow or this storm. Be interesting to see if you get some over the next day or two. If you don't, it's missed you.
Yeah, Frederick is saying, are you going to bore it out? So may not want to glue the bottom on yet. May need
It's already
hold it.
bored.
It's already bored all the way through, Frederick.
Yep, that was the
that was one of the
round. That
first
was the
things
first
he
thing we
did.
did. Yep, put a tenon on both ends, bored it. In fact, this was still a part of this. This was up here. This was down there, and I bored it with a 3/8 inch lamp auger. So, which is right. I'll show that to you. There's my 3/8 inch lamp auger. That one was purchased. I did not make that. I did not purchase that. My father purchased that. I would not have purchased a Hamlet.
That's a Hamlet one.
Yeah.
I like
that is-
Hamlet tools.
I think Hamlet. I think that one is being used a lot and shortened a lot because the Hamlet boring auger is usually a hell of a lot longer than that.
Yes.
This is the length it was. Yeah, we've not shortened that at all. That's how long it was from the beginning. It
All
is
right,
what?
okay.
It's a foot to there. That's about 16 inches total. But that's as long as that one was, just for fun.
I've never seen. I've got to see. I've never seen one that short before.
There's one. That's an actual lamp auger.
Yeah.
It's a little longer. That's about 2.5 feet. That one is. But yeah, this Hamlet, that's the size it was when it was purchased, when it was brand new.
Okay.
It's never been sharpened or anything. It could probably stand the sharpening, but it's never been sharpened. And the whole idea there was, I don't know if they still do or not. They used to make a live center that was hollow, that this would slide through, so you could have your live center up into the wood and come in from the back side.
Yeah,
Right,
but
right through that hole.
the thing is with that, when you with the live center in the tailstock, that wouldn't be long enough to go anywhere.
This would not be. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. So that's why that's the ones you're thinking of were the ones longer that were meant for that. Um,
Yes.
this one apparently was not meant for that because that's as long as it ever was. Good tool. I've had it for a long
One of the
time.
best ones. Talking about these types of things, one of the best ones that you can actually use is called a gun drill.
Yep.
Now, a gun drill actually has an extra hole going down the middle that you put an a compressed air into. So actually, when you're drilling down, it blows out all of the kerf and everything when you're drilling down. And these were used predominantly for obviously for doing guns, but for doing bagpipes.
Sure.
And yeah, very similar to what you're showing there, Doug. And
There's my
Simon
compressor connection.
Simon Hope, who does a lot of stuff in the UK. He was one of the at the time he was the youngest RPT at that time, and he predominantly did bagpipes, and he
Ah,
always used a gun drill for
okay.
doing the bagpipes.
That would make sense. Make real good sense. That gun drill is super handy and it does a super good job. You don't have to have a lot of air pressure. Just and for guns, a lot of times what they do instead of air, it would be oil that was circulating through to keep it cool and to wash out the swarth. For wood, you just use air, and because it's got just a one long flute coming down that whole length, it blows all the dust out. You don't have any
Yep.
dust to worry about whatsoever. So you start at the beginning all the way in.
Frederick has said they still make them. The life center
Mhm.
has a hole so the shavings can escape. The
Yeah.
first one that I ever used, which was way back, was made by Pullwood, and they
Okay.
did that one that you fit into the tailstock. It had a hole in it. It was a cone center, and you put your drill through, and all the shavings came back and blew out of the hole.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some great tools some specialty tools out there that are all extremely nice. They all work really well. Um, Usually there's more than one way of doing stuff, and we've shown that not only here, but we've talked about it as well. My grandfather used to always tell me more than one way to skin a cat, and
Oh,
that's
definitely.
exactly what that means. Is multiple ways. You got the
Oh,
three of us. Go ahead.
I was going to show you one of the presents that
Yeah, yeah,
Paula
yeah,
made.
yeah.
Just give us a second.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'll finish what I started to say. Was that there's the three of us here who are on the screen, and in any given situation, we could probably the three of us can come up with 4, 5, 6 different ways that we have done it, whatever that is. So, like I said, more than one way to do it. Let me put you on full screen. There you are.
Here he is.
Hey, I recognize that character.
And
Absolutely.
if you notice, he is actually sitting or standing on a chuck.
Oh me. When was the last time your hair was that short, Wayne?
Oh God, probably the last time I went for a job.
Okay. All right.
So this was, I believe this was 3D printed by my little sister Paula.
Yeah.
It's even got the buttons on the chuck.
Yeah, it does. That's neat. That's
It's
neat.
got the jaws and everything. It is a three jaw chuck, so it is a metal one, but that doesn't matter.
Well, we would need
There
a
we are.
three jaws to hold you in place.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
probably. So there you go.
Well, you tell
Very
Paula
nice.
she did an
Paula.
excellent job. That's great. That is great. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, and I think we've answered them all. Oh, I started to say a while ago, Billy, it was good to see that you're back home after your little vacation, that you had a successful fishing trip. Still think about you every day, buddy. Billy had some family tragedy that they're dealing with, so we're thinking about Billy. All the good wishes and thoughts and prayers to you, Billy. Um, Ray, congratulations on the new lathe. It just goes on and on. We could talk to everybody in here and just
Oh, we could.
share
We could
things.
carry on for the rest of the night.
And
Absolutely.
happy birthday tomorrow, Wayne.
Oh, thank you, Ruby. Thank you.
Absolutely. And somebody else has a birthday coming. Oh, Mama Sneaks'
Yep,
birthday's
Mama
coming up.
Sneaks on Thursday.
All right. So excellent. Wayne tomorrow, Mama Sneaks on Thursday. I'm sure somebody's got a birthday on Friday. Sure, just sure it
My
is.
husband does.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Wayne does. Another Wayne.
Yeah, another Wayne.
Excellent. Excellent. Mr. Clare.
No, his last name is Quick,
Okay, Mr. Quick.
and he's only Quick by name,
Yeah,
not by
now
nature.
Paula said she used the photo that I took of me and you at Harrogate, and the chuck actually moved. I've actually tried pressing the buttons and moving the jaws out, and they do move a little bit, but I can't get them all the way out. But it's brilliant anyway, Petal. It really
It
is.
really,
Love it.
really is.
You're gonna have
That
to
is
send me a copy of that photo, Wayne.
I did send you a copy.
You sure?
Hmm.
I'm sure I'll send you a copy. If not, I'll find it and send it to you.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Well, it's good to see everybody. It's been a great day. I was going to share a little bit my personal goals. I want to put 100 submissions up on YouTube this year. 52 weeks a year. I won't make all 52 with lives. There'll be a couple that I'll miss, but I want to put up some videos as well. So I said 100, 75 to 100. Probably will be closer to 100 by the time I get done, including Christmas. I haven't decided whether it be 12 days or 24 days of Christmas. But then there's some other things I want to do as well. Just some shorter things. But then subscribers, I'm sitting at I forgot what my number was now. 1,200. I'd like to be pushing 2,000 by this time next year. And to do that,
Yeah,
I've got to have more exposure, more
I can see
short,
that happening.
yeah, more short form videos will help that tremendously. Also, let's see the number of videos. Oh, I'm at 200. Today is 267 uh, videos that have been put out between shorter forms and lives. So I'd like to be, well, I want to be 100 ahead of this wherever I am. So subscribers. Oh, the views. That was the other thing. I'm at just over 85,000. I'd like to be at 150,000 by the end of the year. So those are some lofty goals. Only one of those I can control. You guys, I'll need your help. So like, comment, share, all of those kinds of things. As Jamie says, share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your enemies if you like. I always crack up every time I hear him say that. Ah. But anyway, I did get a funny comment on an older video. It's not too old. It's a couple of months old now. Got a funny comment about a oh, I see what it is. Behind me, you can't see it. I don't have a camera facing that way, but I've got a tub of water for various reasons. But they were commenting on my
Cottage
low-fat
cheese.
cottage cheese tub. And it's just a water container, whatever, just a water container. But I got a comment on that. I like the natural rim, but also the low fat cottage cheese container. What? So I was sitting here looking around, and that's my water container. So that's the lubrication for my diamond card and for a couple of other things that I use it for. But anyway, that's it. That's it. That's it for today. That's number 3, way of hollowing. If I can come up with another one, and I might, we'll talk about that for maybe for next week. But I've got a couple of other things in
I've got.
mind and in store that I want to keep going on down the line with. Yes, Wayne, what you?
No, I'll send you a message. I've
Oh,
got
okay.
I've got another hollow one for you.
Okay. For a hollow form, a different style.
Yep,
All
a
righty.
different style. Yep.
All right. Well, boys and girls, it's been a good day. Thanks for coming along. Help me out where you can. Ruby, Wayne, if y'all want to say good night, we'll be clicking the button.
Good
Night
night.
night.
Good night, everybody. See you next week, if not before.